keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
ExxonMobil Corporation's Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Kaieteur recently disclosed that the oil giant is sparing no effort in maximizing value from Guyana on all fronts as quickly as possible. Towards this end, Mikel said Exxon had launched an exercise that allows for the simultaneous execution of exploration, appraisal, and development activities in the Guyana Basin. Specifically at the Stubble Block, which has unlocked 11 billion barrels of oil equivalent resources. ExxonMobil Corporation's Senior Vice President and Chief Financial Officer Kaieteur recently disclosed that the oil giant is sparing no effort in maximizing value from Guyana on all fronts as quickly as possible. She noted that the company's approach has resulted in tremendous financial success, adding that there were 2 new discoveries this quarter, while 2 vessels continue production at rates that are above the investment basis. Compared to the first quarter of 2022, the Chief Financial Officer said Exxon added about 300,000 oil equivalent barrels per day to global supply, driven by 40% production growth in Guyana and the Permian and good operational performance. This year's World Press Freedom Day is being observed at a time when there appears to be a creeping intolerance to media that seek answers, especially from the political directorates across Guyana's major political divide, the Guyana Press Association said in a statement to mark the occasion. The GPA said the resort to defaming the character of journalists on a politically aligned social media page or the expletive-laced response to a journalist are themselves a violation of Article 12 of the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights that protects people against attacks upon their honor and reputation. The GPA said it is of the clear and unambiguous position that the government's sole interest is to control the narrative of the reality of the Guyanese media landscape locally, regionally, and internationally. Our international partners and affiliates are being kept abreast of these efforts to derail the Guyana Press Association. this is being resisted. The association said it is seeking the solidarity of all freedom-loving Guyanese, including civil society actors and international development stakeholders. And moving on, Dutch shipbuilder SBM Offshore on Tuesday morning announced that it signed a one-of-its-kind contract to operate and maintain 4 FPSO vessels for ExxonMobil's operations. The Netherlands-based company announced the operations and maintenance enabling agreement that was signed with Esso to operate and maintain FPSOs Liza Destiny, Liza Unity, Prosperity, and One Guyana. SBM Offshore has secured multiple contracts over the years for Exxon's Guyana operations, which includes the 4 aforementioned FPSOs. According to the company, while this framework agreement establishes the new terms related to the operations of the Guyana FPSO fleet for a period of 10 years up to 2033, the lease terms and durations remain the same for all units, with 10 years lease for FPSO Liza Destiny and up to 2 years lease for FPSOs Liza Unity and Prosperity, and One Guyana, after which the FPSO's ownership will transfer to the client. In other news, the success of Guyana's newfound oil sector is exciting to the commercial giants in the industry. Not only are oil explorers excited to enter the shores of the South American nation that has so far earned the title of the fastest growing economy on earth, but likewise the service providers for the industry. One such excited player is Schlumberger, a United States firm headquartered in Texas. This company is involved in the handling of radioactive materials used during production activities. It had established an office in Houston, Greater Georgetown, when it was hauled before the local court by citizens, challenging the safety of the project. In fact, the High Court had issued an order for the operations to be ceased. In a new application to the local regulatory body, the company is again seeking to restart its operations. According to the project summary submitted to the EPA for the radioactive storage facility, Schlumberger is looking to relocate its regional headquarters to Guyana. This facility is presently housed at Trinidad. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is your news at noon. We'll return shortly after the break.
On Sunday, 7th May, Everest Cricket Club, Georgetown. He is coming for the first time. Direct from India, Abhijit. Abhijit, live in concert. For info, call 592-628-6582, 592-661-5990. For the first time, playback singer Abhijit, live in concert on Sunday, 7th May at Everest Cricket Club, Georgetown. Powered by the Massive Tank.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Welcome back. Activist Ray Daggers will from Thursday morning proceed on a walk against the oil contract the government of Guyana signed with ExxonMobil back in 2016. In a statement, Daggers said the walk will kick off from Crabwood Creek in Berbice at 9 hours, then on to Demerara across Georgetown, straight to the end of the Essequibo Coast charity. Born in Maikoni, East Coast Demerara, Daggers lived for quite some time overseas, but kept in touch with what was happening back home. Daggers said he was inspired to undertake the protest walk by the unrelenting efforts of businessman and Kaieteur News publisher Glenn Lal in fighting for a change to the Exxon contract. The walk commences on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. from Crabwood Creek. Dagger said every day he will endeavor to walk 26 miles, and he is appealing on citizens to join him in the exercise. Daggers clarified that persons are not asked to walk the entire journey, but are invited to join by walking any stretch, including through villages. Meanwhile, Kaieteur News publisher and advocate for a better oil deal, Glenn Lal, in throwing his support behind Daggers, said he too will be on the walk. Lal has committed to walking for 5 miles each day. Daggers said, when the government of a nation allows foreign corporation or foreign governments access to the people's resources without their approval is a hostile act. And in the process of extracting those resources, if you destroy and pollute the environment, is another hostile act, and both of these are treasonous. And as Guyana prepares to start production at a third offshore project in the Stabroek Block by the end of the year, with the fourth and fifth projects also being approved, Shadow Minister of Natural Resources David Patterson believes dangerous shortcuts are being taken in a bid to get as much money as possible by both government and its partner, ExxonMobil. Patterson pointed out that even though the country is yet to put adequate safeguards in place for production activities, the government is moving ahead with more projects in the prolific Stabroek Block. Not only that, but he also expressed concern over the breach of safe operating limits on the 2 FPSO vessels currently producing oil. This has been a sore issue that is yet to be addressed by the state. Guyanese authorities have provided ExxonMobil's affiliate Esso, along with its joint venture partners, with the legal backing needed to increase oil production at its 5th project in the Stabroek Block. According to the petroleum production license for the Waru development project, local authorities have included a clause called Production Optimization Review. It states that Esso and its partners shall facilitate and fully cooperate with reviews of production optimization reports for the Waru project. It further notes that the first such review shall commence 2 years after startup. It also adds that the licensee shall meet with the chief inspector at his request to ensure any issues, concerns, and/or recommendations arising out of the review are complied with and/or addressed in a manner satisfactory to the minister. And now let's tell you, the woman who was caught on camera jumping from the window of a city guest house moments after the man she was with reportedly died has come forward to profess her innocence. The Ghana Police Force on Monday reported that 49-year-old Omar Ali of Beefield, Pattinson, Greater Georgetown, who was found dead in a room at Kwamina Guest House located at Kwamina Street, Georgetown, on Friday, April 28, had died of unnatural causes. The police had reported too that the woman Ali checked into the guest house with had escaped. However, that woman, who has since been identified as Kenesha Thomas, disclosed that she had been involved with Ali for about 4 years, and on the day in question, he had somehow fallen and hit his head on the toilet area of the guest house. And a 46-year-old man was on Saturday killed in a hit-and-run at Land of Plenty, Essequibo Coast Region 2. Dead is Mahendra Kisoon of Lot K Land of Plenty, Essequibo Coast. Kisoon, according to police, was struck by a truck while he and his granddaughter were heading to buy hot dogs. Kisoon and his granddaughter were reportedly walking in the corner of a northern direction when a speeding truck heading south collided with him. Kisoon was reportedly flung into the air before falling on the road. Instead of stopping to render assistance, the truck driver sped away, leaving a bleeding Kisoon lying on the road. Kisoon's granddaughter ran home and informed family members, and they went to the scene and rushed him to the Sadi Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. Police have since arrested a driver allegedly responsible for the man's death. And that brings us to the end of today's news at noon, but just before we wrap things up, we must turn the pages of today's Kaieteur News to be a little blunt. John Hess is boasting about earnings from Guyana. His people are happy with their returns. Guyanese are sick in bed, reaching the point of no return. Hess is making plenty money from Guyana's oil. Guyanese are making do with whatever crumbs they can get. And on that note, we wrap things up for your main newscast for today. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
It's midweek, it's Wednesday, it's May 3rd, very early in the new month. And we are going to talk about oil today. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. This is the National Outlook. Guyana helps Hess bank US $346 million in the first quarter of 2023. Another discovery announced with millions in profits for shareholders. It seems that the oil companies operating offshore Guyana can do no wrong. It's like everything they touch, there is oil. What Midas touched turned to gold. But the oil companies, ExxonMobil, Hess Corporation, and a Chinese company, Sinopec, whatever they dig, they drill. More often than not, they come up with oil. And lots of it. Millions of barrels of it. So, we have John Hess gloating, drooling before his shareholders. He has to report. There's accountability in the U.S. according to SEC requirements, U.S. securities laws. You've got to report to your shareholders as to what you've done with their money. So Hess has to do it, and it did. Hey, look, we made $346 million in the first 3 months of 2023. Good. A major part of that earnings, profits, came from Guyana. Guyana's oil. Your oil. Well, and here we are still talking about renegotiation, and whenever that word comes up, there are people in the PPP, government and its supporters, who curse those who dare to bring it up. There are those in the PNC who also lash out, to a lesser degree, at those who say, let's start over and do what is better for us. Put Exxon in an arm lock. Put it in a half Nelson so as to squeeze something more for us. They're reporting handsome profits over and over again. We're helping Hess and Exxon to turn the corner, to beautify their balance sheet, their profit, their income statements, their balance sheets, their numbers, and most of it is from Guyana's oil. A significant portion of it is from your oil fields offshore. On Wednesday, Hess was proud to announce in the Lancelet 1 exploration area that oil has been struck. My God. Like I said, everywhere these people go in Guyana's rich oil fields, they touch oil. I don't think that they are telling us the whole story, not with what goes on in the Stabroek Block. And we don't know how much oil has been discovered, but what we do know, it's there. So it means more if it's commercially feasible, and I think that it would be. It means more profits for Exxon and Hess and Sinnoh. It means more money for Guyana too, but in comparison, oh God, you must have heard this so often you're getting blue in the face. In comparison to what Guyana is getting, those people make out like banshees. They just make out at our expense. What is happening with our share versus their share is nothing but a crime. It's nothing but a crime. And the tragedy about it all is that our leaders are so passive. Our leaders are so docile. Our leaders are so casual about this. The oil companies keep making money, and a lot of Guyanese people keep on starving. I'm GHK Lal on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. You are listening to the National Outlook.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and